or an ongoing experience of God's plentiful universe, which is 5. So where on that scale, and you don't have to say it, but just note, where on that scale are you? Are you from anywhere from struggle to an ongoing experience of God's plentiful universe? So just take note. And those of you who were here last week may have gone up a little bit because we gave a lot of really good information last week. All right, next one. Is your journey through life unsatisfying, that's down at 1, or filled with joy and meaning as you live Spirit's purpose? That's number 5. So again, take note where you are. Okay, Dan? Do you feel like you are on a course to nowhere, or working in harmony with divine law to consciously create every step of the way? How engaged are you in conscious creation, moment by moment and day by day? Through, we know that takes place through our thought and through our words. So where on the scale are you? Just take a look, take note. And let's breathe now. Breathe in. And realize that if we have a vision of where we want to go, the top of the scale on all of these, the vision pulls us forward. It begins to stimulate some new activity and new excitement about possibility and potential and shifts that are taking place within us. So let's go ahead and move on from that. So the intention then is that we move at least one notch up the scale to more fully experience the pathway of God's plenty, the journey of joy with Spirit's purpose as you, and a course of conscious creation. So there are 2 books that I am using as sources of inspiration this month. One just came out in 2015. It's Mae McCarthy's A Path of Wealth, and there might be still one copy in the bookstore. I'm not sure. I put it up there last week. Oh, somebody bought it. Okay. Okay. So there's that book, and the other book is one that goes all the way back to 1910, and people like Bob Proctor and others refer to this book a lot, because it has some really powerful information about how to live in alignment with your divine purpose, with Spirit. And when you hear the title, you might not realize that this is what it's all about, because it's called The Science of Getting Rich. And for those of you who find yourself going, ooh, getting rich, is that something good to talk about in a house of a God? Is that a good thing or not? And what I'm inviting you to do is to keep listening. What I'm going to show you is how that all of this fits in to helping you live the life you love, a life that is divinely designed in you, through you, and as you, a life that you live by design and not by default. So, what I'm going to be introducing you today is actually in your program already. I assume that you have it in there. There's a little sheet of paper in the midst of your program that is an agenda to work in partnership with the divine, in partnership with God. And what she called it, oh, there we go. Thank you. Oh, one more. So, my intention is to give all of you the greatest value I possibly can so that you can be living the life of your dreams more fully, freely, and expansively. So this is an agenda. It's a 30-day challenge. I'm challenging you to stick with this for 30 days and to truly make Spirit, God, and what Mae McCarthy calls her CSO, as your partner. Now, she is a businesswoman, so CSO, Chief Spiritual Officer, is what she calls the divine presence as she's doing this every morning. Our Chief Spiritual Advisor or Officer, yeah. And anyway, she has built several multi-million-dollar companies over the years by having a morning meeting and an evening meeting with the divine, with spirit, with what she calls her chief spiritual officer. Realizing that in partnership with the divine, all things are possible. So this is her agenda. And it's very simple, but it's very powerful. And you'll recognize these principles. And I know that many of you have practices in place already. What I'm going to invite you is to just, see how your practices fit in with these basic principles and maybe tweak it a little bit if it just needs some tweaking. So let's take a look at the very first agenda item. Oh, I have to say one thing first before I do that. Okay. What we learned last week is that our job in the partnership with the divine is there's four things for us to do. The first one is decide what we want. Now, many of us use the process of visioning. That's what I use. I tap into what is my deepest, most heartfelt intent. I like that word better than want. Through the visioning process. You may have your own way of doing that. But decide what you want. It's allowing that, whatever that is, to come up from the heart. Number 2 is align with it. Align with it. And in visioning, we focus on what must I release in my consciousness and what must I embrace in order to be the vehicle through which God's vision for my life comes into fruition. So she talks about alignment in terms of sticking with using gratitude and sticking with your daily routine. And also following guidance. So the third one is to be grateful in advance. We've heard this before, right? Be grateful in advance for all of the things that you desire. So you speak of it as if it's already happening in the spirit of gratitude. And the third one is act on guidance along the way. So you may receive guidance during the meeting or throughout the day. And I want to get into that a little bit more as we move along. So those are the 4 things. Decide, align, be grateful in advance, and follow guidance. The CSO's job, or God's job. What's God's job? Everything else. Good. Some people were listening from last week. So creating the path, clearing the path, bringing opportunities, resources, and people to support our good, providing guidance one step at a time. All of those things is what Spirit provides. And remember, that presence is within us as well as all around us. Okay, now let's take a look at the agenda. 30-day challenge. So 30-day challenge, just 30 days of consistently every day doing this. So let's see what the plan is. So agenda item number 1 is a daily inspirational reading. And here is something that I want to share with you that I'm not sure that she does, but this is what I do because I've read the research. And when we are in an altered state of consciousness, which happens when we are meditating, we have greater access to the subconscious mind to change it. We have a greater opportunity to change all of those neural pathways in the brain that are embedded. We can change them more easily when we are in an altered meditative state of consciousness. People in the hypnotherapy field for years have known this, and the mystics have known it in their own way, which is why they support meditation. So I actually have a CD, well actually it's an MP3 now, that I listen to while I'm doing this process, and I take time to meditate first, get myself in a deep state of meditation, and I allow myself to listen deeply to the messages of Spirit. So There's technology out there that's called binaural beats and variations of it, where you have a different tone going in each ear that helps you get into these deep altered states of theta and delta. You know, it takes you below even the beta state is awake, alpha state is the beginning levels of meditation, and then you go, the theta and the delta are deeper. And there's actually gamma too that the Buddhist monks use or have developed, cultivated. So use the technology that's out there. It really can facilitate you dropping into those deeper states more quickly. So the daily inspirational readings, I'm going to offer to you that you use a particular set of readings. And you can use whatever you want. There are plenty of really good things out there. The one that I'm inviting you to use is Wallace Wattles' Science of Getting Rich. As I said before, Bob Proctor reads this. This is something he recommends. And he is someone who is really living a peak life experience. Anybody who knows Bob Proctor. He says to read, dissect, and study the science of getting rich, then do it again then do it again and again and again, specifically focusing on chapters 4, 7, 11, and 14. 4, 7, 11, and 14. And you'll notice those are the ones that are repeated on your agenda. Now, for those of you who don't have the book, you can get it online. It's one of those ones, because it was back in 1910, that it's available to the public for free online. And so you can actually download a PDF of it. The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles. So you can actually get it online, so you can start on this tomorrow morning right away. In fact, we're going to start it today. So let's take a nice deep breath. And what I want to do is to offer this particular reading from chapter 1 in The Science of Getting Rich. It's about our divine nature of abundance. So this is how it goes. Every person naturally wants to become all they are capable of becoming. This desire to realize innate possibilities is inherent in human nature. We cannot help wanting to be all that we can be. Success in life is becoming what you want to be, and you can render to God and to humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. I'm going to read that again. You can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. So, we can go where we are guided to go, do what we are guided to do, be who we are guided to be, and give what we are guided to give. So let's breathe on that one. So that's an example of a reading that you would do at the beginning in agenda number 1. Agenda item number 2, and these are actually listed on your handout. Write a letter of gratitude, a fresh new letter of gratitude. Again, these two things create new neural pathways. That's what we're doing. Write a letter of gratitude. Deborah Norville, anybody remember her? She was a TV anchor. She said there's a scientifically proven phenomenon that's attached to gratitude. If you consciously take note of what is good in your life, quantifiable benefits happen. So noticing the good is gratitude, right? You may not have thought of it that way, but noticing the good in your life is gratitude. Eric Butterworth in The Spiritual Economics has something to say about this idea of living the life more abundant. He quoted Jesus as saying, "I came that they may have life and have it more." You've heard this one, right? Okay. He means that a life that is rich and fulfilled, healthy, prosperous, and loving. So only a lack of perception, a lack of a grateful heart keeps us from experiencing it. We have a choice to be great or small, is what Eric says. He said, when we are grateful, we are great. I like that. So say, when I am grateful, I am great.
When I am grateful, I am great.
All right. When we become lax, he says, in the expression of gratitude, we become little people with little minds leading little inconsequential lives. That's like, ouch. But remember, when we are grateful, we are great. It's just a shift, a little shift. So write a letter expressing gratitude in advance. And then as you're writing it, notice the new inspirations that come up in the process. I've been doing this now for a little bit more than a week. And it's been wonderful. And I have to say, my level of enthusiasm, my level of excitement and joy has been bumped up. And you probably notice it. It is really up there from doing this process. So I feel like I can speak from a place of knowing that this is really awesome. So write a letter of gratitude in advance and record your inspirations. The biggest obstacle that we have to realizing our dreams is what? Our thoughts, our limiting beliefs, those beliefs, doubts, yes. So someone very brilliantly said, and you let me know who it is, it's done unto you as you believe. Right. And there's also a story about Jesus where a man, a father of an ailing son, said to him, and this is the King James Version, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. And the Lamsa Version, directly from Aramaic, I do believe, help my little faith. Help my little faith. So if it's whether it's unbelief or little faith, practicing gratitude in advance and daily noticing all of the good is a way to strengthen faith and eliminate unbelief, to come from a place of belief and faith and trust. So for those of you who've said, I just wish I had more faith, here's your answer. Gratitude. Daily practicing gratitude strengthens faith and belief. All right. Agenda item number 3. We've written it. Now it's time to read it out loud. And why do we want to read it out loud? Why would you guess? It stimulates more neural pathways because thinking is one level, but when we speak it helps to really strengthen those neural pathways. And when we add emotion to it, we're using the midbrain. So we're using the frontal cortex and we're using the midbrain to reprogram, put nice new little neural pathways into place. New beliefs, vision, they all now become a part of the subconscious mind. And we know that 95% of our actions come from the subconscious programming, which is embedded in the brain. So this process is rewiring us for success and joy. I love that. New behaviors, new perceptions, and a new vibration that is more attracting of opportunities to you. Agenda item number 4, visualize. See it, hear it, feel it. And we know that this not only creates neural pathways, but we know that the sports world has done it for years, decades. The sports world has known this. And Michael Phelps, who's won more gold medals than any other person, accredits his success to visualization. He started at age 7. Before bed at night, he would visualize the perfect swim. He would, age 7, visualize the perfect swim and then go the next day and do it. Muhammad Ali, Jack Nicholson, Michael Jordan, and I'm sure many, many others. These are people who credit their success to visualization. They use this tool because they know how it works. We have plenty of scientific evidence. So visualization, we can use visualization to program ourselves for success. And I might say unstoppable success. So take a portion of your gratitude letter and visualize it. That means put yourself in it, feel it, see it, hear it, use all of your senses. So now we have an optional agenda item, which is record guidance received during the meeting. And so if you receive any particular guidance, that's great, do it. But also, we want to be aware of guidance that takes place throughout our day. And I'll give you an example of some guidance that I received yesterday. So yesterday morning, I went to my yoga class. And as I came out of my yoga class, I heard very clearly, go to the center and set up for Sunday, which is something I've never done before. I'm usually running around here trying to get everything in order and then be ready for singing, And so I came in yesterday. I ended up spending 2 hours here, not only setting things up, getting things ready, because we have a Spark meeting and a board meeting, so there are handouts and things for that. There's just a lot of little things that take place to make sure that this is a smooth and graceful service for all of you. So what I did while I was here is I noticed the office really had a lot of clutter. So I started decluttering the office and organizing the office. And then I walked into this room and I saw all kinds of stuff that was hanging all over the racks in here. So I went through that and took care of that. So to make a long story short, I ended up being a little bit late this morning. It was much less stressful knowing that I had come here to do it ahead of time. That was divine guidance, and that is going to be my new habit on second Sundays when there's so much going on. That's my new habit, is coming in on Saturday and doing all the setup and having things ready to go. So there's one. There's one good one. Another piece of guidance that I got is to look on the internet. And I ended up finding something on neuroplasticity, and I incorporated it into my message, which is what you're hearing, because I think it's really important for those of us who have a scientific mind and we want proof and stuff like that. It's helpful to insert these little bits of information along with the mystical teachings to help it cement in our minds. Also, it gives us a vision of what we're doing as we're creating those new neural pathways. So, now that I've presented all of the different steps, what I'm inviting you to do now is to play along with me. Let's do a mini session with the divine right here and right now. Are you ready? Okay, so what I'd like to do, and it's going to be very short. Does anybody need a pen? And I'm going to invite you just to use the back of your sheet that you have there. So if you need a pen, raise your hand. And I'm going to invite Dan to play the Eternal Om, which is a way to get us into an altered state pretty quickly.
Remember Kathleen?
Yes.
We're writing the letter of gratitude. Is it, I'm so happy and grateful now that
Yes.
we want our lives to be.
Yes. I'm happy. I'm so happy and grateful now that and I'll lead you through that in just a minute. Okay, so let's take a breath, everybody, and I'm going to do a sacred reading first from the Science of Getting Rich. So here we go. Close your eyes and listen. Gratitude alone can keep you looking forward to the great all, and prevent you from falling into the error of thinking of supply as limited. There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get results that you seek. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation It cannot fail to reach that to which it is addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement toward you. And the quote that he gives is, "Draw nigh unto God, and God will draw nigh unto you." That is a statement of truth. Take a breath. Oops. I'm going to give you 1 minute right now to write one thing that you're grateful for, to write a thank you note to Spirit of one thing. Start it off with, "I'm so happy and grateful now that." So just pick one thing in work, financial, health, peace, joy, relationships, your relationship with God, whatever it is. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And you can say, "Dear CSO, dear God," however you want to put it. Now it's time to read it out loud, and what I'm going to do is invite you all to do it all at the same time, and I will hit the gong when our time is up. So everybody's reading it out loud with emotion, energy, all at the same time. As soon as I gong, you begin.
I'm so happy and grateful.
Now visualize it for 30 seconds. Feel it, see it, hear it. Deep breath, and with great power and enthusiasm say, "Yes!" And so it is. All right. Yay us! So Retta and the CJL choir have